Alrighty everyone, so today we're doing a bit of a different video. So I remember this article and oh my god, is it truly something else? Batman, 20 things that make no sense about Arkham Asylum. Alright, let's get a read in this. So I want to preface this, do not bully the author, do not contact them, do not give them any crap. This is purely to make fun of. So do not take this video completely serious because it's just a video and it's just a game. So please do not. All right, so right at number 20, the villain's costumes. Generally, when someone is admitted into the institution for criminal rehabilitation, you don't get to wear your own clothes. This is why it's baffling as how all Batman's villains somehow have their traditional garb. Sure, in the case of the Joker, he's being booked in when the madness started, but what about the rest of them? All right, Killer Croc is 11 feet tall. Like, it's gonna be really hard to get him to wear anything. Poison Ivy, like, you're lucky you can get her to wear anything because of how she's into naturalism and nature. So at least she's got a shirt on, partly. Like, yeah, like that's the thing. Is like some of these, like killer, like you could put a shirt on Killer Croc. At least I think he has pants on. I mean, if you're really gonna consider his skin a costume, then I guess. Okay, this one really. All right, the Riddler's puzzles. Look, we get it. The Riddler's one clever cat. He's capable of putting together some ridiculous, complex puzzles that require your brain to do some serious mental gymnastics. Everyone knows that about him. Hence, how is it odd? He's managed to put challenges and trophies all around the island. All right. All right, let's read this last part. If you know you have a criminal mastermind in your midst, are you going to let him roam freely throughout the yard and island without supervision? Maybe all of Arkham guards are on lunch every time that Riddler was let outside again. If you know he likes to do little creative things, why leave him to his own devices? All right. Arkham is not exactly like the job that everyone loves. People send people like Riddler, Joker to Arkham Island to get rid of them for the meantime. And we kind of know this as we were playing through Arkham, the first part. Remember, Balls, he's on Joker's payroll. How many of the guards are on villains' payroll? Probably a lot, because in the end of it, being Arkham guard is a shit job. You have people like the Joker that break out, that kill your buddies. So why not just be on the payroll? Batman's modus. I really love this point. This point is one of my favorites to argue. Okay. The world's greatest detective also ends up being the world's greatest chump in Batman Arkham Asylum. He suspected the Joker was up to something, and his capture was far too easy for his liking. So what does he do? He follows him to the island, knowing all his goons are still out there on the streets somewhere. Don't you think he would have learned about the cave's deception technique throughout the past experience? But it seems like the Dark Knight is blinded by his own pig-headedness. There were other options available to him, however, he walked straight into Mr. J's trap like a fool that he was. All right. Now, I want to preface this is Batman is very intelligent, but his brain operates on logic. The Joker's doesn't. So even when someone like a veteran like Batman, who has dealt with Joker so many times, even he doesn't know what the Joker is planning most of the time. So you could guess what the Joker... Now, Batman has an idea of what he could be doing. But to say that he knew that he had tabs on Dr. Yan and all this stuff, like, it's a bit of a stretch. Now, this is what also another point. Scarecrow's fear toxin touches upon the whole costume aspect as well. How does Scarecrow get his grubby paws on all his fear-inducing gear and get up? And some of the most material to the game, we found out that he had his own secret lair in the asylum. The question is, how did he get all his stuff undetected? Yes, we know there were a few crooked guards who aided in Joker's plan. Most likely Scarecrow as well has surely someone seen a bunch of canisters containing the fear toxins at some point. But did no one bother to check the cameras once in a while? All right, you answer your own question. You played yourself. Yes, there are crooked guards. Like, there's... I don't want to keep hammering this point, but working at Arkham is a shit job. No one probably really wants to do it. Preface this whole scenario. So, yeah, so Scarecrow probably has people on his payroll too. It's kind of obvious. You know, it's how Riddler, as in the past games, you've seen Riddler has several people. From all the games, he has people in the Arkham Knight's army. He has people in Joker's army. He has people in Two-Face's army. You know, they're gangs. Even in Penguins. Even cops. So to say that... you know, the Arkham guards aren't getting paid off isn't a stretch, because they're working for Arkham. They're probably seeing their coworkers killed at a pretty frequent rate, whoever's breaking out. The Arkham Knight's whereabouts, oh boy, we're really digging deep. This is probably the one point that I felt like... Now, some of this can kind of be argued about. It's like, okay, like how many people are on the Joker's or whoever's payroll. Okay, I can kind of see that if everyone's on, like, you know, not everyone's on the payroll. But this is really digging deep. Okay, the Arkham Knight's whereabouts. So as we know, Jason Todd was alive and not so well in the Arkham storylines in terms of the timeline. So we don't know exactly where he was when Batman Arkham Asylum took place, but he could have been in Venezuela building up his army of soldiers. The point is, he had plans to punish the Dark Knight. Undoubtedly, the events of Batman Arkham Asylum was made headlines. Everyone knew the Cape Crusader was stuck in there with some of his most dangerous foes. So why didn't the Arkham Knight strike then? This was the perfect opportunity to truly take down his former mentor, yet he was nowhere to be found. All right, CBR, I'm gonna sit you down for this one little talk. It's called about, this was 2009, and I doubt they really had thought about using Jason Todd yet. So in the Arkham timeline, by the time Batman and Joker, the final boss fight, was happening, Arkham Knight, Jason, convinced Deathstroke, yes, Deathstroke, to save him. He was in no condition. He was being tortured for months and months. For all as Batman knew, Jason was dead. And Jason was not in a condition to strike down Batman. He was so, like, at this point, his body would have been so weak and just destroyed from all the torture Joker did to Jason. So it was without a doubt that Jason probably couldn't even do anything. All right. Where were Robin and Nightwing? Oracle being a big role in the Arkham video games series, especially in Batman Arkham Asylum. However, two other sidekicks, Robin and Nightwing, decided to stay at home and watch Breaking Bad instead. You know what? I want to watch Breaking Bad too. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm planning. Instead of being useful, that said, it's like the Dark Knight to put on the gruff voice and tell them that he'll do it alone and they must stay out of it. But let's be honest here for a second. The sidekicks have never listened to Batman. They do what they think is right. Yet in this game, not even a peep from them, as they let their boss do all the heavy lifting. All right. I'm not sure about Robin, but Nightwing sort of has his own thing. You know, Nightwing knows Batman. He knows he can handle the Joker. Now, like, does he have, like, okay, if maybe they didn't have the budget to use Robin and Nightwing just yet. So that's the thing, is this was supposed to be a Batman game, and maybe they had plans for cities, so like they were going to use these characters eventually, but in this universe, Batman's kind of a douchebag and keeps them at an arm's length at all times. All right, we're really, oh my god, Bane's presence. Here's the problem with Bane's presence in the game. Prior to the game's events, Bane was captured and brought to Arkham Asylum for Penelope Youngs to study the effects of the venom on him, and additionally, he was officially listed as an escapee from Blackgate, considering that Bane is probably the smartest villain out of all the rogues. He would never be captured by anyone else besides the Dark Knight, who can match his intellect, so his capture is a bit too convenient for the story's sake. And also, why didn't anyone investigate his supposed escape from Blackgate? He is a dangerous criminal, so would it only be reasonable expectation? All right, Bane in the Arkham games is not exactly what you would call smart. Now in Arkham Origins, he was very intelligent, he was very cunning, tactical, but in City and Asylum, Bane is not exactly, you know, really smart. So it makes no sense. All right, the message strings in Asylum. For the most part, Arkham Asylum is actually a dump. It looks like it could be use a fresh coat of paint and some renovations. Yet on the other hand, the Asylums features these high-tech screens that play messages from Quincy Sharp and the other doctors discussing mental health and the history of Arkham. Sorry, but this isn't Jurassic Park. Why in the world would the inmates want to get messages about the asylum? Furthermore, who actually wants to go to Arkham for a tour, since the house of some of the most dangerous criminals in the world? The messages are far more about narrative exploitation from anything. All right, CBR, I know this is a bit of a bait, but you know, there are other people in this mental institute that aren't Joker or Two-Face or Riddler or Killer Croc. There's actually people that go to mental institutes for help because they're not feeling well and they need some guidance, and they're not well enough to be on their own because they're a danger to themselves or to society. Wow, Joker, Killer Croc, Riddler, and all of them are the very extremes of this. There are people that go to mental institutes that are regular day people that just need some help. Oh, jeez. Okay, Penelope Young's role. Penelope Young's intentions with regard to the time might have been pure at heart, but she was about it in the wrong way. No matter what Bane has done, he's still a human being with rights. Instead, she tested him against his will to recover the effects of Venom and to make Titans. Shockingly, also, she broke several medical oaths and laws by conducting this on Arkham Asylum's premises. While you might think the Joker is the main villain of the game, it's actually Young. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have needed all the body bags or drama. She's the real enemy here. Okay. Have you never heard of doctors that broke their Hippocratical oath that they're supposed to uphold? Dr. Death, like Angels. Have you never heard of Angels of Death? There are doctors who kill their patients. It happens. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens. So, oh my god, we have still a few more points to go. The secret Batcave. Oh my god. Batman is resourceful, but even the secret Batcave under Arkham Asylum seems a little too far-fetched for him. This isn't like Peter Parker leaving backpacks across New York City. This is an entire jacked up cave filled with high-tech gear. The question begs is to how did he manage to get all this stuff there without being noticed? Yeah, he can drop his smoke bombs and pop in out of rooms, but this was some serious construction. It would have taken time, manpower, and several visits to deck out his Batcave. So how did he do it? And no, because he's Batman isn't a valid reason. All right. Bruce Wayne could have been doing some philanthropy for Arkham. Helping out with some more higher security. He could have paid for some stuff and he could have gone off. And start building the cave. And because of the shoddy security at Arkham, I doubt no one would really bat an eye for Batman. Like I said, shoddy security. Being a criminal in Gotham City must be a dream. Think about it. Everyone is so utterly useless at any form of security that you could commit a crime, get caught, and laugh as you escape. Heck, even looking at Arkham Asylum from the outside, you wouldn't be too intimidated about being locked up inside there and fleeting at a later stage. There are so many holes in the structural plan. Overall security of the asylum is almost comical to see how the Dark Knight navigates from room to room with full security protocols in place, but he does it without breaking a sweat. All right. Arkham is not exactly the most well secure place, as you said. It is literally for short time effect. Now, yes, Arkham needs to have better security, but it's Arkham. This is Gotham, a cesspool of a city. And we're talking about Batman. You can pretty much break into a lot of places, no matter how well guarded or how unguarded it is. He's gonna get in. All the villains in one place. All right, now they're really reaching. We've come to the conclusion that superhero logic, or can be, stupid already, but that it takes a whole new level of Gotham City is undoubtedly the hub for psychopaths and criminals. So why would you keep them all in under one roof? Yes, you could argue it's like a maximum security prison, but would it make more sense to send them off to other areas of the country? Additionally, isn't Killer Croc meant to be at something rave since he's a member of the Suicide Squad? You don't just fling inmates from facility to facility, hoping that the rehabilitation will magically happen. There are processes to follow, but it seems like Arkham has none. All right. Oh, jeez. Okay. 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 You know, you can ask for to be placed in a certain prison. But here's the thing. You use Killer Croc as an example. How many places are going to be able to hold someone like Killer Croc? Yes, you could argue that having so many of them in one place is bad, but it might be easier for them to just keep him in Arkham. But also, it makes sense. I'm not going to even try to argue this point. The Titan production. Oh, jeez. All right. In all fairness, a lot of people have meth labs in their homes, and no one knows until there's a police tip-off. Yet it's a bit of a head scratcher when you consider how the Joker could have organized a Titan production facility in the botanical gardens of Arkham Asylum without being noticed. Was everyone, including the gardener, bribed to keep quiet and all the nefarious happening on the island? Again, it seems implausible. How could this be taking place without anyone noticing or asking questions? There must be a shift and guards doing their rounds. Surely someone would have spotted something a little funky taking place in the botanical gardens. All right. Like it has been said. So who says that the guards that are on watch there aren't the guards that Joker has paid off, or are so afraid of being killed or having their families threatened that they don't say anything? Like, come on, this is the Joker. All right, the useless guards. You have to feel for Jim Gordon. We already know that GCPD is filled with the most incompetent policemen in the history of law enforcement. However, it seems that like their apathy and laziness spread to Arkham Asylum guards who are cut from the same cloth as the police academy officers. First off, they allow themselves to be bribed easily by psychopaths like that's ever going to turn out well. Second, when the good ones have to do something, they're pretty much wait around for Batman to intervene. These dudes are getting paid for service, yet they want someone else to do it for them. All right. The reason why Batman is really allowed to operate. All right, I mean, like I made in my previous point, some of these guards are probably being threatened. Their family is probably getting threatened. They're like, Joker has threatened his own henchmen with breaking their wives' legs or killing their family. So if Joker is willing to do that to his own henchmen, what do you think he's going to do to the guards' families? So yeah, Killer Croc's lair. Killer Croc isn't exactly the most smartest villain around, but there's something about his lair in the sewers that sound off. Like, why didn't he just escape via the sewers? Well, and Jones likes his freedom. So if he was to be put down there, he could easily swim away and get out, even if the sewers don't lead too far out of Arkham. It allows him the opportunity to get outside of the asylum's walls. From there, he could take a dive in the water and paddle across the shores to Gotham City. Considering his reptilian abilities, and the swim wouldn't be too much of a stretch for him. All right, I believe it's been like the sewers that he lives in, his jail cell, are capped off. So if he wanted to, he can't. Two-Face's freedom. As we know, Batman Arkham Asylum's Harvey Dent has been transferred into the Two-Face. His cell can even be found in the penitentiary. However, Gotham's former district attorney isn't there. He's out there robbing the Second National Bank. How did he get out? You follow the canon road to Arkham confirms he's hospitalized due to his previous encounter with Batman, so it obviously means he escapes from the hospital now, or was also watching, or who was watching him. Additionally, Batman leaves Arkham to stop Dent at the end of the game, but in Arkham City, the villain remains at large in Gotham. Something about Two-Face's story arcs stinks here. Alright. Harvey could just be easily hiding from Batman. He could probably have a place that he could hide. And probably after Asylum, Batman was probably really worn out. So yeah, he probably wasn't able to stop Two-Face. Alright, no Batman surveillance. Alright, we're really digging at the bottom of the barrel here. Batman is as paranoid as they come. He doesn't trust anyone, including the Justice League. He has set up contingency plans in case the League ever goes rogue, and he keeps tab on all of his teammates. Honestly, he's the kind of guy who has access to your browser history and stores it into a file for later use. I mean, what you get, like... Okay. He even has a contingency plan for even himself. For God's sake. This is why it's hard to believe that he has had no surveillance in Arkham. If he's the world's greatest detective, he would install secret cameras and kept an eye on things to ensure that everything is in order. You're telling us that he trusts the guards and wanted to do the right thing? Ha. Alright. He could just easily hack into the cameras. He has been seen to do that so many times. So, and besides, I'm not going to really argue this point because some of these points are really stupid. The vigilante in the asylum. Oh geez. Batman and Jim Gordon have a good relationship. Leans on him and allows him to help the GCPD put away the bad guys. However, he's still a vigilante and outlaw by allowing him to interact with the patients in Arkham, as he does in the beginning. When he escorts the Joker into the asylum, he is not only violating the inmates' rights, but breaking the law as well. It's reckless how the asylum and the GCPD allow him to do this, because a smarter lawyer would have ensure that his or her client is released due to a failure to follow due process. The Dark Knight is actually a liability here. Alright. Let me just tell you this. Gotham is such a shithole of a cesspool of a place that it's impossible that they allow Batman to operate the way he does, because there is no one else to help them with their shithole of a city. And since Batman is so willingly to help, they let him. Because he's the really only one who can stop these villains. Because they don't have the manpower or the ability to really stop some of these criminals. So, and Batman is assuring they don't escape. And he is just there. He takes them to Arkham. It's not like he's holding them. Like, all right, let's go on. No tabs on. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is really getting to a point. It's like they're scraping to the very bottomless of the bottom of the barrel. At the time Batman Arkham Asylum, it was common knowledge that Harley Quinn and Joker were joined at the hip like DC's Bonnie and Clyde. She was his accomplice and would do absolutely anything for her pudding, as such logic would dictate that Batman should keep a watchful eye on, especially if her and the Clown Prince of Crime have been separated like they were at the beginning of the game. But not keeping tabs on Harley, the Dark Knight and Jim Gordon were completely blindsided by the Joker's plan. They could have all been avoided had they bothered to ensure that Harley wasn't on the loose. Alright. Like I said, the Joker does not operate on logic, so doesn't Harley. So to say that Batman can't be everywhere, he can't know where everyone is at. So it's to keep a tab on like 20 something rogues galleries is not exactly easy. And he can't be everywhere. So yeah, it's easy to say that, oh, he forgot about Harley because he's worried about the Joker escaping. And the easy escape plan in Batman Arkham Asylum. The actual asylum is on an island. For all those who've watched the Rock starring Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, you know that this is a bad idea. Finally enough, the game can actually borrow numerous plots from the Michael Bay directed movie. Walking around the game, you can even approach the water and see Gotham and Wayne Tower in the distance. It's at this moment that you realize that inmates could escape the island using the routes, while swimming might not be a viable option. They could easily build a raft out of items in the surrounding and make their way back to Gotham. Alright. The water current alone, unless you're Killer Croc, would be rough enough to get back to Arkham. So no, that would be alright. This is done. This is over. I'm done reading this, but this was a lot of fun to read. Like I said, this was all in jest and fun. So do not take this entirely seriously. This was just to poke fun at, but I got a little peeved at the end where I'm just like, oh my god. But yeah, thank you for staying till the end. Please like and subscribe and comment. If you do, it really does help me out and I really appreciate it. So thank you if you made it this far. I had a lot of fun doing this, and see you in the next video.